Sandi, our silver medalist from the USA, Robeilys Peinado from Venezuela, and Yarosli Silva from Cuba. Okay? Now, anybody that has any questions for any of the winners tonight? Yes, please. Could we, yeah.
I would like to ask Ekaterini Stefanidi. Ekaterina, are you focusing after receiving the third medal, the gold medal in all outdoor great events, to do a world record till the terminal of this Diamond League?
Well, I think often it's quite difficult to focus and motivate yourself after a big championship, and especially after a successful big championship. I have been ready to jump that high, I would say, all season, and I think it shows in the consistency. I think it shows in my jumps at 5:02 today. I am an athlete that struggles to motivate myself with records. I do a little better motivating myself and pushing myself when it comes to medals. So this is something we're working on. Today was a big step forward for me to be able to jump a height once I had already won. That has not happened very many times in my career, so that was a big step forward. The world record it's out there. It's something that we're thinking about in the future. I don't know whether we'll get good enough conditions in the next 2 or 3 meets, but I would like to attempt it again.
There's a question at the front here, please.
Larry here with RunBlogRun. This is for Sandi and Ekaterini. We've been competing against each other all season. We see you on the circuit. Can you talk about the competition this evening, especially when it got above 475?
Sure, yeah. Well, I knew Kat was like on her A game. She's been very, very consistent, especially at that 80 bar. And this whole year I've kind of been struggling a little bit, just trying to get my feet under me and just working my way back up toward the 90s. And my goal tonight was to try to get back into the 90s, but I wasn't able to accomplish that personally. And so anytime I go into a competition, whether Kat's there or not, I try to just look at it as competing against myself. So I'm not disappointed in how I was doing physically, like my jumps were there, but I just didn't quite put it together with the right pull in my hand and those standards in the right spot. And that's why it makes it so special when you do put those bars together, because it can be so hard to get the standards in the right place and the pull in your hand that you need. Yeah, so I would say anytime I compete against Kat, I just focus on myself really, and honestly that's the only way you can get through any competition, especially in the pole vault, because it's such a mental thing. You can't focus on your competitors.
She was answering her question.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So like Sandy said, I have been pretty consistent this season, and she has had a bit of a weird season up and down, but coming here we knew she would be the one that would have to compete against, and it showed. She jumped really good, she had good attempts at the next height. I think it was kind of expected that at some point it would probably be the two of us unless there was some big surprise. I think this rivalry, I mean, we have a really good relationship, so I don't know, this healthy rivalry, I think it's really good for both of us. I think we'll push each other higher, and I think it's good for the event too.
Thank you.
This is for Robeilys. You equalled your national record. You're still 19 years of age. What's your thoughts about what went on out there today, and what's your thoughts about where you go in the future?
We have translation.
Hoy lograste el récord nacional. ¿Y qué es lo que, bueno, tienes 19 años, qué es lo que piensas de lo que pasó hoy y lo que piensas va a pasar en el futuro?
Bueno, estoy muy feliz de haber logrado esta medalla con mi mejor marca personal, y la verdad es que creo que ahora es que empieza mi camino, porque se me cerró una puerta en las Olimpiadas, pero se me abrieron muchas más. Entonces voy a seguir trabajando para llegar más lejos.
I'm really happy to have won this medal with my personal best, like the best. Now I'm just beginning to start my own path, seeing as the doors were closed for me last year, and I'm going to continue working really hard to continue in order to get the best moving forward at the next games.
Hello to Katerina, congratulations first of all. 2 years ago, I think your personal best was 465. Now you began, it was your first attempt at that high. 465, I think only Magdalena Simbayeva was the only person who dared to begin from that high. Was it too risky to take that decision to begin from 465, and what does this mean for the future?
The last 2 Diamond Leagues in Rome and in London, in both of them, I started at 465. So it wasn't some big risk that we were taking. I've done it before. We train and we compete for consistency, I would say. I think maybe there's a couple of things that I could do tomorrow to make me jump high once and then jump low many times, and we don't do that. We work for consistency. We want to know that I can make 480 every day. We want to know that I'm confident at 490 and taking attempts at 5 meters, and that's what matters right now, and I think that's what wins medals. So I don't think starting at 465 was that risky. I mean, I started at 460 in the prelim and I had waited way longer, so I think that's just as risky.
Any more questions?
It's to Ekaterina and Sandi. Can you compare and contrast the atmosphere in the stadium? Because once again it came down to a head-to-head duel with Rio, because Rio, there was hardly anybody there, and tonight we heard the Greek music at the end, and so just what were your thoughts about the actual situation you found yourself in?
I mean, it really was great. The crowd was very supportive of all of us. Of course, a little more supportive of the British athletes, but it's understandable. But I think it's very important for big championships like this to take place in places like this, that the fans are more knowledgeable. They appreciate the event a lot more. Of course, we could do a lot of things to grow the sport in places where it's not quite as appreciated yet, but I think the atmosphere, I mean, we've competed here, I've competed here, I think this is my 5th time in London, it's always a great atmosphere. The fans understand the difference between jumping 460 and jumping 490, and they react different to it, and I think that's very important for an athlete. It is a great atmosphere in there.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree with her that the games in Rio, it was obvious that they had never put something like that on before, so the atmosphere here, even when it comes down to the way it was officiated and everything, they know how to do it, and so I definitely enjoyed jumping here. The fans know what's going on, they're in tune with things, they understand, first attempts versus third attempts, and they can, when they're in tune with what's going on, they know exactly when to cheer loudly. Like she said, they know the difference between jumping 460 and jumping 490. So I would definitely say this is one of the best atmospheres that I've experienced, and it was great. It was a lot of fun.
My question is for Yarisley. It is your third podium consecutive in a World Championship. How do you feel?
I'm sorry, could you just repeat the question? I didn't quite catch the first part.
It is her third medal in the World Championship consecutively for 2000. Well, yes. Es tu tercera medalla consecutiva en los mundiales.
Spanish, right? Yeah. ¿Sí entiendes?
Sí.
¿Sí?
Sí. quiero felicitar a mis compañeras por la actuación maravillosa que hicieron, también a Robeilys, aunque con 19 años tiene una medalla de bronce mundial. Me siento feliz, esta es mi tercera medalla mundial, estoy contenta, creo que es un mérito para mi país, para mi familia, para mi profesor. Es un trabajo de mucho el sacrificio, ¿no? De muchos años de esfuerzo, de entrega, y realmente feliz y contenta, ¿no? Porque pienso que no son todos los atletas que tienen la posibilidad de participar en cuadros mundiales, bueno, y tener medallas. Estoy feliz, contenta, sí.
Yes, so this is my third world medal. I'm really happy to have won it. It's a medal for my country, for my family, and for my profession. There was a lot of sacrifice that went into this, but I'm really happy that this is the 4th championships that I'm at and I have a medal.
Question there? We'll just have 1 or 2 more questions.
One more question for Ekaterina. Winning this championship, you became the best ever female athlete in Greece. Never before we have at the same time Olympic champion, world champion, European champion. Does this put more pressure to you for the next games? What does this mean for now and for the future?
I see pressure as a privilege. I think that if people didn't expect things from me because I was doing good all year and people know I compete, the fans know I compete well at championships, I think there wouldn't be pressure. So I see pressure as a privilege. I definitely had, I would say, more pressure this time coming from Rio and being the favorite because of how the season has gone so far. I definitely felt more nervous than before, but I think I'm somebody who can control it very well. And I think maybe even do better under pressure. So I don't think it will put more pressure. I think we're looking to what's next now.
What's next?
What's next? I don't know.
One last question, thank you.
For Robeilys, the whole world knows the political situation in Venezuela is very difficult. How has that had an impact on you?
Todo el mundo conoce la situación actual en Venezuela políticamente. ¿Cómo esta situación te ha afectado personalmente?
Bueno, lo he dicho muchas veces y creo que ese tema de política no me gustaría tocarlo.
I've been asked this quite a few times, and I think that the political situation is something that I don't want to talk about.
Okay. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That's probably enough for Sandi. We've got